Is Mono Green Landfall really a top tier competitive deck in MTG Arena? I have a hard time believing it is, but this deck just went 9-0 in a major tournament. Alright majors, so let's dive into the list that took down the tournament. At its core, it's a Mono Green Landfall aggressive deck that aims to leverage lands, entering the battlefield to create overwhelming threats. So here's how it works. We're going to jump into the core engine and landfall synergy, so the Llanowar Elves, Fabled Passages, Escape Tunnels, and the Spring Bloom Druid all work together to provide landfall for the creatures that are supported by that. So we all probably know how Fabled Passage works. Escape Tunnel is very similar, and then of course our Spring Bloom lets us cast and search our library for 2 basic lands if we sacrifice a land. So this is another way to put 2 on the board. So if you combine this with a Fabled Passage, that's potentially 4 landfall effects in 1 turn. So that's really effective. Next we have the landfall payoffs, which are going to be the big hitters. Bristly Bill, Spine Sower is a 2/2 creature with landfall, and you are able to put a 1/1 counter on a target creature. And then of course for 3 and 2 green, you can also double the amount of 1/1 counters on each creature you control. So he's definitely something you want on the board that will sit so that you can take advantage of those 2 abilities. Mossborn Hydra is an awesome 0/0, comes in as a 1/1 with landfall. It can double the amount of tokens or counters on this particular creature. And of course we're going to be doing a lot of landfall, so this is going to grow really fast. The next group we have here are the Final Fantasy crew, if you will. These are complement all the other cards in the deck. Starting with Saz's Chocobo. It has permanent 1/1 counters whenever you put a land into the field. Tifa is an amazing star of the show. She is a 1/2 with landfall. She can double her power until end of turn. She also has trample just like the Mossborn Hydra, and really nasty. Traveling Chocobo, of course we're able to look at the top of our library, and then anytime a bird or a land enters the battlefield, we get triggered abilities double. So that's awesome. Saz Catroy also lets us search for birds or land, put them in our hand, and when we attack we get to add more counters, and then we get to double the amount of counters on that creature, which is just where this deck really turns ridiculous. And then the last group we have are the Protection and the Finishers group. We're either looking for land or we're looking to protect or fight, in this case with Bushwhack, but these other cards are also dealing with protection, whether it's through Hexproof, Royal Tokens, which is another counter, or Hexproof. That's the full breakdown of this particular deck. It's really fun to pilot. Sometimes it feels like it falls flat on its face. It almost feels like a starter deck that's given to you from the client, but sometimes it feels like the most broken deck that you could be playing. And that's a really fun kind of feeling to have in Magic, especially the latter. So if you are interested in this particular deck, I'll have the deck list in the description. And of course, if you enjoy this kind of content, a like or subscribe would be fantastic. Appreciate you guys, and on to the gameplay. Okay. I see land, I see creatures. That's all I would ask for. So this is honestly my first real attempt at playing this deck, and I just thought it would be fun to play this in Mythic, because that's how I roll. I just want to jump right in. I don't need any warm-up games or anything like that, so I feel like I could figure this out. And if that's the case, and it ends up winning, you know, I'm going to be impressed, because like I said earlier in the intro, I really feel like this deck sometimes, I don't understand how it could fall flat on its face sometimes, but then just become such a powerhouse. I don't know if that has to do with the mulligans that you do on this deck, or just the matchups. I'm sure it's both, but you know, seeing a Ghost Vacuum on the board is not a concern for our deck, but we do want to consider the fact that they're probably looking to possibly use that to their advantage with exiling, whether it's creatures or not. I see Orzhov, so I know that there's a possibility that there could be a Ketramos, and so getting those off the board seems like a good idea. I don't know what else to do with those Pick Your Poisons anyway. Really cool card, by the way, Pick Your Poison. Now we've got our Tifa out on the board. I don't see that very often. Crypt Color Chariot. Looks like we're going to be able to swing pretty good here. Already getting to throw out a Spring Bloom, which means we'll get a 2 lands, or it's a 1 for 2 swap. But because 2 land hit the board, she's up to 8. It's not game ending, but definitely a big hit that they did not like, I'm sure. Oh gosh, split up. Good card, but you can see the downside to it right there. I wish it was Tifa that got left on the board, but that's okay. We have another one, so. I personally don't think these Llanowar Elves are very good in this deck, but then again, it's the same problem I have with this deck. Hey, there's Ketchamoose. Kind of thought that might have been the case. But it's the same situation with this deck where it just either goes all in at once or it just feels horrible. And that's how Llanowar Elves feel. Like you want them in your opening hand to be able to ramp into whatever creature you're wanting to ramp into. But whenever you draw a Llanowar Elf late game, it's not going to get really a whole lot of value. You'll be able to add some counters to it with Bill, but that's about it. This was a bad attack on my part. I forgot that they had a vehicle. But I'm going to clean up this mistake, throw another Tifa out there, and hopefully this Ketchamoose isn't going to be an issue. He's at 2 exiled cards right now. Once he gets up to 7, he'll be able to turn online and have a bunch of lifelink, and that's not good for us. Also indestructible, he can block. But right now, the opponent's at 10, and we've got ourselves a board here. We don't have a good way to pump. We have 0 land, but this Traveling Chocobo, I think, is probably the play here. Obviously, the elves aren't going to do us much good, at least on this turn. I'd hate to throw everything out there because then it's obviously they have board clears, so we want to be mindful of that. If we do have to re-establish the board, we don't want to put everything out there. Hopefully they don't have combat tricks or instants. Yep. Alright, opponent. I don't like seeing the Fountain Port. That can be a problem for us as far as getting through. Tifa does have trample. That might be our win condition right here. So we draw a Bushwhack. That does mean we can put a land out on the board, or we can fight. There's no need to fight a Ketchamoose that can't do anything right now. And we have another Bushwhack in the wings. So, might use that to our advantage next turn. I mean, our board is getting wide enough to where we might just be able to squeak out enough damage. Yeah. Squeak out enough damage, or we can just, end it right here. I just don't know what they have in their hand. Yeah, and even if they crew, I think we have just enough damage. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Crypt Collar Chariot, to be honest. Interesting card. Yeah, we got him to 2, my bad. Look, this is one of those decks. It's a lot of math, and can't do two things at once. I'm gonna be honest. What are they thinking about over there? They either have removal or not. That's kind of it. Okay, I see. That's funny. Well, Tifa's a legendary, so yeah. Alright, Miguelo 13. This seems like a decent hand. We can ramp into our Chocobo. Unless they kill our elf, which pretty much always want to kill the mana dork. Let's see if it happens. Oh, okay. Mono blue, it could be mill, it could be omniscience. Oh my gosh, I'm still seeing omniscience. It's just sad. I have 0 omniscience crafted. Even if I possessed them, I just can't bring myself to play that deck. It takes a special kind of person. I'm not that person. Alright, what a good play here. And it gets countered. So they've got counter magic. Always fun. Good thing is we have a couple of things on the board, so those made it. Landfall is counterproof, fortunately. I am worried about bounce. Are they reading the card? What's going on here? Yep, that sucks. 3 damage is better than none. Catsroy will be nice if it'll resolve. Yeah, 5 cards in hand. There always is a stick. 4 islands. It's gonna get real sticky. Whoa. Just say no is their approach. But they're sitting at 11. All it takes is one good turn and Tifa is gonna take over. This Hydra could as well if it can get out there. Man, it's gonna be like that. I mean, how do you play around that? In my opinion, if I know the opponent has counter magic, I like to just try to burn through it as much as I can. I want to know that they're top decking, you know. And that's not the case because they're going to be able to probably fill their hand pretty easily. But the key is if we can play more than one spell in a turn, it's so much harder for our counter magic to be effective. So they know I have Tifa, but I'm going to try to throw out this Hydra, see if they'll counter it. And if they do, surely they can't counter Tifa as well. If so, it's just not meant to be this game. Yeah, I think might as well try to squeak the damage with the Llanowar. I am nervous. Okay, 3 damage is not good enough. Could bushwhack for more, but yeah, they're gonna dig for their answer and probably get it. In my opinion, this is showing to be, oh no, that's exactly what they needed. I can't fight it. I can't trample over it. Oh man. But this is an example of where this deck just falls flat. When someone can control the board, it's just, what are you supposed to do? There's, you know, it's not like Hexproof is going to be helping here. Little bird. Maybe we can get around this crab. I just don't know. Yeah, of course, there's another Spellgyre. That's pretty comical. I'm just reaching at this point. I don't think I have enough time to just sit and draw go, but because of these crabs. That's very rude. Well, there's 10 damage. If I don't top deck something amazing, that's actually a really good top deck. I don't think it's enough though. I mean, I'm gonna have to hold back the Llanowar Elf. Back, actually both creatures. And that's just devastating. Yeah, the game's over. The game's over, I know that. But because I haven't played this before, I do want to play it out and, you know, get a feel for it. I go first. That's a good curve. Little chocobo. The darn things can't fly, but they sure are cute. So is it a chicken? My daughter started playing this game the other day and she calls this the chicken deck, and she's not wrong. Voice of Victory, such a good card. Ah, see. Wrong sequence there. That's okay. I was going too fast. Didn't think about it. Should have played the Hydra first. Could be the difference between winning and losing, so... Especially in super competitive Magic. Alright, so Pick Your Poison is going to be really nice here. I have to check. Sometimes I'm like, is it an enchantment? Is it an artifact? Alright. Now we're cooking. And we've got protection. So I'm feeling pretty happy here. Now, every time I see white, I know they have exile capabilities, but still, targeted abilities are targeted abilities. Some carrot cake. And you know what? That sounds pretty good. It's been a while since I've had some, but I love some carrot cake. I had some chocolate cake the other day at my mom's house, and it was ridiculous. Ah, here we go. That probably felt really bad for them. Yeah, creature first, even though it doesn't necessarily matter this time. That's 15, and then yeah, they're aware. Awesome. Okay. Pretty happy with that. Dragon Sniper. Oh. I see green over there. Is this a mirror match? Of some kind? At least a mono green. Uh-oh. I didn't have protection for it. Maybe Tifa can stay strong, not die. Ah, man, Death Touch. Such a cool card. Death Touch Reach. There's Bristler Bill. Ready to cause trouble. Cook's a mean chili, I've heard. Pick your poison. It's not poisonous enough. Great card, but useless versus most creatures. Well, they've kind of got an advantage, and now they definitely have an advantage over us. It's a race, and we are losing. Yeah, almost played my land before my creature, so that's something to be mindful of. I find myself wanting to do that pretty often, playing a land before my my creature. In this deck, pretty much all the creatures benefit from landfall, so easy mistake to make. So think about the order, your sequence every time you play this. It does matter more than usual. The amount of death they have in their deck, come on. It was like perfect amount. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much game. I don't see much of a recovery here. I have nothing big enough to fight. Creature with flying of their choice. Well, let's see what they have. Alright. That'll do it. Alright. Another good hand. So we will keep. The Sheezy. It's pretty fun to say. Yeah. This deck surprises me. It's made a pretty good showing. I mean, any in my opinion, any deck that can win 50% in Mythic is pretty good. Really? Oh, Rakdos, I was about to say. Thought I was the only one that had a mono red deck in Mythic. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be aggro players. And you could say that this is an aggro deck. Maybe. Maybe not. And it's just no haste. Anything pure creatures, though, kind of feels aggro. Sure does. It can win fast, so I mean, I don't know. The Confidence Scamp is pretty much the best card in red right now because of all the ways to buff it. So I'm worried about that. We're gonna have to play around that with care. Because I'd love to just trample over the creatures, but you know, seeing as they're aggro, we're gonna try to remove their creatures as best we can. So relying on fight mechanic instead of land on our bushwhacks is a good idea. In some matchups, you don't want to fight. You just want the land. This is going to hurt. Whatever is about to happen. Yeah, that's 6. And they're having to think. Yeah, whatever they do, I'm probably not going to block. So if I were them, I would sack the Scamp. But if they don't have any creatures, however, maybe not. But to get me down to 7 would be pretty scary. Okay, they're not gonna do it. That's good. I have several options here. I think more bodies is the answer. I don't see them removing creatures anytime soon unless they're just casting burn spells, in which case more power to them if they're rocking burn spells. Yeah, I tend to try to get the damage in with Scamp whenever I can. Guaranteed damage. They must not have any creatures in hand to replace them. Because I would be at 7, which is against their particular deck, not a lot of health. They sure are thinking hard. Okay. Yeah, because of the threat of him, let's just... I mean, we're going to have to reset our board, but that is okay. Didn't take him long to think of that one, did it? Okay, so now we're reset, but we can just throw the board back. Wish I could play 2 creatures, but that's okay. Yeah, this Royal token is nice to have. Gotta start somewhere. I'm living on the edge. If they have haste, then that's no fun. But I've got to get the damage in. Definitely on a clock here. Although, they're not in any hurry, are they? I mean, you have 2 cards in hand. There's only so many options here. Wild Ride isn't going to do anything for you right now. Okay, thank you. Okay, we doubled Tifa. Catsroy comes out. Now, because they seemingly rely on creatures, we're going to pull a creature of our own. Seems more beneficial to have bodies on the board, because otherwise I don't see their win condition other than just damage from creatures. They must be sitting on some junk. It's hard to say what would be better, but I think the Chocobo. There we go. Alright, it's nice to have protection with the veils. Don't think we'll need it, but we'll see. Red Mage's Rapier. That's not gonna do much. It's a body. Bonus Rage. Haste when it dies. Okay, well we have Trample. I guess if they can get 13 damage in, but we do have a blocker. So I'm not quite sure. I have 1 card. Wild Ride isn't it? Because they'd have to use Harmonize. And they're missing 1 extra mana for that. The suspense is killing me. Okay. 7. No trample. Oh. Whoa. The kamikaze. Well, I'm definitely going to block. I don't trust. That was weird. That was a strange play, in my opinion. I mean, we did lose our Chocobo. I guess they're just hoping I don't have enough damage on Tifa. But we do get to put a counter on her. And so does Catsroy. And there it is. Nice.